So today I've got 3 tips and 3 secrets for you to make life easier and save you time. And what am I talking about? Well, let's jump in and find out.
Welcome to the Course Creators HQ podcast, helping you navigate the latest techniques for creating and marketing online courses. And now, here is your host, Julie Hood.
So welcome. It's episode 130. Oh my goodness, how did that happen? So glad you're here and listening and joining us. And hopefully you'll get an idea today to not only save you time, but make your life a little less stressful, because I want to talk about email marketing. And it's one of those things that I think a lot of people avoid, but once you master it, it is incredible. Almost, not quite, but almost like having your own little ATM machine where when you get to enough subscribers, you send out something and people click and follow and sign up for your stuff and pay you. So let's talk about these 3 tips and these 3 secrets. And if you want to catch the show notes where I've got all of them listed out, you can go to coursecreatorshq.com/130. That's /130. All of the episodes actually have full show notes so you can go grab them and get, if you want to come back, like if you're listening in your car and you're like, oh, I can't write these down right now, you can always come back, put in the number after the slash on coursecreatorshq.com, and you will get the link to the notes. Okay. So, email marketing, so critical and so valuable to your business. I've seen multiple numbers saying for every dollar that businesses put in, they get 35, 37, 49. The numbers all vary, but that's the return on investment of their time. So today I thought I would give you a few tips and secrets to making it a little bit easier, because I don't want this to be difficult for you because it's so valuable for your course business. Let's just make this as easy as possible. So tip number 1 is to create a list of your topics and your ideas and keep it handy. So maybe you have a note on your phone where every time you think of something, you're putting it into the same note. Or maybe you have a Google Doc, or wherever you can have like one place on your phone and one place on your computer. If they could be the same, fantastic. And I want you to start capturing every time you get an idea about something that could make a good email for your audience. And keep that list handy, because it's so much easier when you're sitting down to create content if you've got a list of ideas to start from. Because if I have just a blank screen, that kind of makes me groan and avoid it and hate it. So when I can use my list of topics, I get so much further along and ahead of time. So start tracking those ideas. You might even want to check into some of the new AI tools out there. They can also give you some ideas. So I will put the links to 2 of them. One is the Copy Creator tool that I've talked about in other episodes. And then the other one is the new Chat GPT. You can even use those to help you brainstorm some potential things to be talking about. And then always capture those comments, especially with Copy Creator, because unless you pay for Copy Creator, you can't get back to them. So copy and paste them out and keep them. So make that list so you've got some inspiration when you need to come back and figure out, what am I going to talk about? So tip number 2 is to duplicate your previous emails and then just update them. So what I mean by this is when I go in to do a new email, I just click that duplicate button and then edit the subject line, edit the content, but all of the structure is still there. So my logo is there, my closing signature is there, my picture, the different sections that I have are all formatted already. And that way you don't have to start from a blank slate. You can have most of it there, and then you're just changing the unique pieces of the puzzle, and it make you a lot faster as you're creating your emails. and it's a lot easier. So hopefully whatever tool you're using lets you duplicate previous ones and edit. Okay, tip number 3 is I want you to create that content in your favorite and your easiest way. So if you are not a writer, don't make yourself write emails. If you prefer audio, you could send out a weekly audio. One of my favorite tools is called Searchy, and it will host the audios for you and give you a really nice player. So you could just send out a weekly audio. Like, that's super easy. Or if you are into videos, send out a weekly video that you're giving to your list with suggestions, education, tips, tools, that kind of thing. You probably can't put the video actually in the email. You'll need to link to it, so you host it somewhere. So that could be YouTube. It could be Searchy also does hosting. If you have Kajabi, they will host your videos for you. Put them into a blog post and then send out the link to that. Like, make this easy for yourself and make it the thing that you like to do. So don't make it drudgery or, oh my gosh, I have to write an email and you don't feel like it. And then so those are like my tips on making the process easier. But let's get into the 3 secrets to really make it work for you, make that whole email process much, much better. So the first one is I want you to make it a routine. So you ignore the other stuff that comes up when you've scheduled a date that you do your emails. So for example, my emails happen on Wednesdays and Thursdays. I do give myself a little leeway in that I have 2 days, Wednesday and Thursday, to get them created. So maybe give yourself 2 days and then write it down, make these unbreakable appointments with yourself. And then it becomes this thing that you do so that no matter what, it gets done. So for example, like Tuesdays today are my podcast days, and I had 15 different things that I thought of this morning that also needed to happen. But the goal on Tuesdays is to make sure the podcast gets out. So the other things, I'm writing them down so I don't forget about them, but they don't take priority. The podcast wins today. So write down those other things that come up, but give yourself those days where you're like, okay, I'm going to make sure I always work on my emails on this day and get one sent out. Now, what happens if you've taken a break and you haven't sent emails for months or longer? So the people have probably forgotten who you are. So here's what you can do. Send out a message to them that says, hey, it's Julie from CourseCreatorsHQ.com, and I'm so sorry. I've fallen off the wagon. I haven't sent you emails, and you may not remember who I am. So you probably signed up for one of my free offers, and I wanted to follow up with you and give you that link again. So in case you didn't get to check it out, you can go check it out now. Here's the free lead magnet. You give them the link and then say, and I'm setting up a new system so I can make sure that I contact you every week, every month, whatever you decide to do. And so thanks for jumping in onto the list. I hope you're still interested in course creation, and I'm excited to have you here and that we get to communicate more. So you can really see that then helps with that know, like, and trust, because they get used to hearing from you. It becomes that regular messaging from you, and it builds that trust and credibility that, okay, this is an expert who knows what they're doing. They follow through on their commitments. So it's one of those really easy ways to help build that relationship with your audience. Okay, so secret number 2 is I want you to use a really good tool that makes it easy for you to create and send your emails. So I'll give you a couple of my suggestions here, but I want whichever one you pick, I want it to be something where you can sit down and crank out an email pretty quickly, because you don't want it to be this thing where you go in and you're like, okay, now I have to figure out all this stuff and where to click and what to do. Like, you want to get to that place where it's super easy to create. So here are a couple that I recommend for my audience. The ConvertKit one is something I recommend a lot, and because they can also help you sell. So ConvertKit can be really good to use. I personally use Drip. I like it because I can really crank out an email and they've got some good automation features, but I will tell you, they get a little pricey. So Drip might not be, depending on your choice, it might not be the best one, depending on your budget. I like it, but, depending on where you're at. And then for all my Kajabi folks, since it's an all-in-one tool, your email newsletter software is included. So I'll put the links to the 3 of these in the show notes. If you're interested, I'd appreciate it if you click through on those. I get a little commission, so you can click through those links in the show notes. That'd be fantastic. CourseCreatorsHQ.com/130. One that I will say is to potentially stay away from MailChimp. I know a lot of people love MailChimp, and if you love it, then go for it. But I just have so many problems with it every time I work with a client and we're trying to have multiple lead magnets and then they end up with multiple lists, and it just makes my head hurt. So I'm not a big MailChimp fan, as you can tell, but I do love a ConvertKit if you're looking for one to get started on. Okay, secret number 3 is, are you a pro? And let me explain this. I heard this today from a friend of mine. Her name is Tara Garrity, and she owns HeyGirlYouCan.com. She does a ton on Clubhouse. Just a really incredible woman. Plus, she has some great stories. And so I'm going to borrow her story today because I love this. And she was talking about her brother and how he loves to play golf. And he has all the gadgets and he has a coach and he goes to play golf all the time. And when they go on vacation, he will find new places to play golf. And it's this big thing for him. However, he only plays when he feels like it, and so it's not a professional thing for him. It's a hobby because he does it when he wants to. On the other hand, if you contrast that with Tiger Woods, who is a professional golfer, he golfs even when he doesn't feel like it or when he doesn't want to. He's out there golfing. And so that's where you can kind of ask yourself, like, am I a pro? Am I setting up a business that I'm committed to? Or am I a hobbyist? And either one works. It just really helps if you know where you're at, because when you're a professional, you're going to send that email whether you feel like it today or not. And I will tell you, there are days when I don't feel like doing a podcast, don't feel like doing an email, but I do it anyway because I want you guys to know that I'm consistently putting this stuff together for you. So that's secret number 3. Are you a pro? And then, gotta have a little bonus secret here that will save you so much time. And that is reuse your emails. Now, I wouldn't reuse them like a month later, but if it's been 6 months or a year or longer, you can definitely reuse those emails. Change up the subject line, maybe change up the intro, read through it to make sure it doesn't have anything like saying a specific year or time of the year or something. If you're talking about Christmas, like, you need to change that out. But you can totally reuse all that great content that you've already done. I go back all the time and I'll pull an email from a few years ago and I was like, this was pretty good. I think I can reuse this, and change up what you need to and then resend it out. Most of the time your folks won't remember, because if you think about it, only 25 to 30% maybe opened that original email. So those other 70% haven't even seen it yet. So use and reuse your emails and your content to make your life so much easier. So I hope this has helped you. These 3 tips and 3 secrets to recognize that email marketing does not have to be time consuming and challenging. It's just one of those things you put on the list as a professional in your business. You're going to make sure that you're sending those out regularly to your audience and consistently. And thanks so much for listening. I hope I gave you an idea or 2 you can use this week. And I appreciate you following and subscribing. Whenever you get a good tip, if you want to leave us a 5-star review, that is fantastic. I so appreciate it. and have an amazing week. I hope you send out an email this week. I've inspired you to get started or to send out that email that's been sitting on your desktop and waiting. And have a terrific week. We will catch you on the next episode. Take care, everybody.